Welcome to Beyond the Coverage, and I'm back again, guys. I made it out of the hospital just in time. Abandoned ship yesterday at the hospital, last night on Thursday. They did a bunch of checks for sepsis. They couldn't find out exactly why I had it. Started me on a bunch of rounds of antibiotics. I started feeling better, but they starved me for 3 days. Got out, like I said, last night. Felt better after about 15 hours of sleep from last night all the way into late today, Friday morning. And then got up and thought, okay, we got a new camera, we have a new microphone, and we have the 2023 Vuelta a España starting tomorrow with the team time trial. I gotta get to work. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Hopefully this is the way it stays. But like I said, the doctors have me on some heavy antibiotics to kick the sepsis. But if I can stay at this level, you guys got me for the next 3 weeks for the Vuelta a España. Today's episode of Beyond the Coverage, I of course want to talk about Remco Evenepoel and can he repeat? That's got to be the biggest question. Remember, last season he beat none other than Primoz Roglic at the Vuelta a España, and Primoz Roglic, along with Jumbo-Visma teammates, they dominated the opening first week there at the Vuelta a España, winning the team time trial, and then they just passed the red jersey amongst their teammates. Then, of course, Remco Evenepoel went to work, destroyed everyone in the individual time trial to put more time into Primoz Roglic. But remember, he had that crash. Then he was off for a couple stages, got dropped on the mountain stages by Primoz Roglic. But then Primoz Roglic crashed out at the sprint finish with Mads Pedersen and with Fred Wright that he overlapped with. His fault, not Fred Wright's fault. The Bahrain victorious rider. I got your back, man. No kidding. There is no way that that was Fred Wright's fault from any camera angle that I saw. And I looked all over and saw that angle from about 50 different times, from frontwards, backwards, sides, and any option I could possibly find. Even fans on the side of the road that had their cameras that I was looking at, and Primoz Roglic was 100% at fault. Either way, Primoz Roglic, remember, he went and had the surgery done, got his shoulder all fixed back, put into place, and now he's dominated the 23 season when he's been racing. He even beat up on Remco Evenepoel at Catalonia with some intelligent racing. Primoz Roglic has taken his tactical level here in 2023 up just a notch. When we look at Trino Adriatico, his first race of the season, like I told you, he was marvelous and always patient. There at Catalonia, same thing. Now when I'm talking Remco Evenepoel, can he repeat? Well, he's got to be perfect here at this year's Vuelta a España because he's going up against the Giro d'Italia champion Primoz Roglic, who's undefeated this year. He's going up against his teammate Jonas Vingegaard, who won the Tour de France, and he's back-to-back champion there. So Remco Evenepoel has to be perfect. And what am I saying about perfect? Well, basically, guys, my boy Garrett, he put it the best way possible. He said he has to be the 9th Jumbo-Visma rider. He does. He needs his teammates, all his climbers around him to stay for as long as possible. But once his teammates are gone, once Jan Hertz drops, once Louis Vervaeke drops, once he starts losing James Knox off the back on the final or penultimate climbs here at the Vuelta a España, all of a sudden, Remco Evenepoel, he has to just latch on to the Jumbo-Visma train, and he has to be calm like a bum. He needs to be the 9th rider for Jumbo-Visma and just stay there. Once the team gets down to just the 2 favorites, once Sepp Kuss, the American Flying Eagle, starts flying up that last climb, blowing everybody off the back, and you got just Jonas Vingegaard, Primoz Roglic, and Remco Evenepoel left, that's when he's got to be calm, and he has to follow Primoz Roglic and Jonas Vingegaard. Now, we saw that tactic last year against Tadej Pogačar on stage 11 of that magnificent Tour de France in 2022 when Tadej Pogačar made tactical mistakes all over and lost the Tour de France, gave Jonas Vingegaard his first victory at the Tour de France. And that stage 11 is a prime example of what Remco Evenepoel cannot do this year at the Vuelta a España if he has to win, if he wants to win. He needs to be perfect. We go back to that stage 11. I've talked about it many times. Tadej Pogačar, some of the commentators talked about when they were going up Col de Galibier about how Tadej Pogačar was in a tactical nightmare situation. Tactically, it was super simple. Follow Primoz Roglic, follow Jonas Vingegaard. Physically, it's not super simple, but tactically, it's as easy as it gets. Follow Primoz, follow Jonas for as long as you can. If you can't follow both, follow the guy closest to you on the general classification, Jonas Vingegaard, let Primoz Roglic go up the road, who already lost time on stage 5 of that year's Tour de France. Now, fast forward again into the 2023 Vuelta a España. And remember, let me just remind you guys, Primoz Roglic won the Giro, Jonas Vingegaard won the Tour de France, and Remco Evenepoel won last year's Vuelta a España. So consecutively, 3 Grand Tours, 3 different winners, so you know it's going to be an exciting race. Remco Evenepoel is going to get attacked just like Tadej Pogacar did on stage 11 of 2 years ago's Tour de France when we're going up on the Col de Galibier, that is. He's going to get attacked left and right. So he stay calm. Like I said, 9th teammate for Jumbo-Visma the whole time. Just use your other climbers the whole time to look after you in case you get any trouble. You have a flat tire, you need extra calories, you need bottles, you need to be kept out of the wind all the way to the final climb. And then after that, you're following up as the 9th rider for Jumbo-Visma. Sepp Kuss is going full gas. Most likely he's dropped everyone off. Maybe we're surprised. Maybe Geraint Thomas is still there. Maybe Alexander Vlasov is still there. Maybe one of UAE team members duo are there. Because let me remind you, Almeida was 3rd at this year's Giro d'Italia, so he could be there solid here at the Vuelta a España, especially if Jonas has lost just a little bit of edge. Maybe Sepp Kuss's sharpness as a Super Domestiques come off just a little bit because he has done the Giro, he has done the Tour de France, now he's doing the trifecta here for Jumbo-Visma, so maybe his edge has come off. So if Jonas has come down a little bit, Sepp Kuss has come down a little bit, we could see Alexander Vlasov there, and of course Almeida like I was talking about, or we could see last year's 3rd at the Vuelta a España, Ayuso there for UAE Team Emirates too. So there's a lot of different scenarios to play for because we don't know the form of Jonas Vingegaard. But one thing I'm 100% certain of, and I just left the hospital and I was out and didn't eat for 3 days, and I'm still 100% certain that Remco Evenepoel, if he stands a chance of winning this year's Vuelta a España, be the 9th rider for Jumbo-Visma. Follow those two guys for as long as you possibly can. Each attack left and right. Never get in the wind early on the final climb, because if we see Remco Evenepoel attacking early, remember, it'll just be Sepp Kuss back there setting tempo, and then you'll have two fresher, Jonas Vingegaard and Primož Roglič, coming up to Remco Evenepoel. That's a bad situation to be in. So Remco Evenepoel, in order to keep this Vuelta exciting, sit on the wheel for as long as possible. When you finally go, chip away at the time. Remember, tomorrow's 15-kilometer team time trial, most likely, I'm almost 100% certain, but maybe I'm a knucklehead, but I think Jumbo-Visma is going to win tomorrow's 15-kilometer time trial, but maybe they don't. And if they don't, it's even easier the following stages for Remco Evenepoel to be able to follow Jumbo, because for sure they'll have to ride the front. But let's say they win, because I think they will, then they're still going to have to look to put in time into Remco Evenepoel and other places. So Remco Evenepoel, stay calm. Once you start getting into that last 1K of these final steep, hard climbs, that's when you can start accelerating. But you need to be 100% and go all the way to the line with full strength and chip away. Take 10 seconds, take 15, take 20 if you can. If you can't. I don't always see it happening because it's Jonas Vingegaard, Tour de France champion, and Primož Roglič, Giro d'Italia champion. And odds that both riders are off here starting the Vuelta a España for these next 3 weeks will be rare, but maybe Jonas Vingegaard's not that sharp, or maybe Primož Roglič is a little bit not 100% racing tactically smart, and maybe they put too much effort in. But if we go back again to that stage 11 of the Tour de France 2 years ago, remember, while Jonas Vingegaard's attacking and while Primož Roglič is attacking, Remco Evenepoel, if you just follow the attacks directly, if you're not chasing behind, if you're not caught looking left while they're attacking right, or some kind of knucklehead move like that, if you're on top of your game, when they're attacking, if they're accelerating, so are they. They're accelerating and you're on the wheel, everybody's doing the same energy. It doesn't matter when you're going up the climb. If you're on the wheel, you're going to save energy from the rider in front. The next rider attacks in the back, you directly jump onto that wheel, you follow it for as long as possible. And unlike Tadej Pogacar did in stage 11 up the Col de Galibier, you never pull for 4K up the Col de Galibier, or whatever the name of the climb will be here at this year's 2023 Vuelta a España. And remember, you have the Angliru coming. The Angliru is vicious and monstrous. That's where the jersey comes from, sitting here on the right, and how I won the Vuelta a España back in 2013 and became the oldest Grand Tour winner in the galaxy by almost 6 years. Next oldest guy to win a Grand Tour was 36 years of age. Geraint Thomas tried to take it and add another year to that to make it 37 with the Giro d'Italia this year, but then he lost out once Primož Roglič became spectacular on that penultimate individual time trial stage and made it one of the most spectacular individual TTs I've ever witnessed as bike racing. Now, we go again. Remco Evenepoel, if you want to keep this exciting, please don't do anything knucklehead. The biggest thing I witnessed already at the Road World Championships, when we're talking about the male and female racers Road World Championships, Every time Wout van Aert finished the Road World Championships, he said, well, the strongest guy won. Of course the strongest guy won. Tell me something a little bit less obvious than Mathieu van der Poel is the strongest. But why did Mathieu van der Poel win? Well, he won because he was spectacular, he was the strongest, and he made all the other guys fall for it. When he was attacking at 90 kilometers to go, the Belgium team who went in there with the fastest sprinter in the world, Jasper Philipsen, they worked too hard, they blew him off the back. I don't even know why you brought Jasper Philipsen to the Road World Championships if you were going to make it hard. And Remco Evenepoel, he said he was always sitting about 40th position. It cost him a little bit of energy. But if it cost you energy, why'd you start attacking at the Road World Championships? You didn't need to attack. Let the other riders, like Mathieu van der Poel, attack at 90 kilometers to go. Then put Remco Evenepoel on the front. Have the big man, Wout van Aert, who was clearly second best at the Men's Road World Championships, have him sitting behind Remco Evenepoel and a host of other talented Belgian riders there, because Thies Benoot, you are marvelous with your form. Tactically, again, Belgium, you guys were a nightmare knuckleheads. But Thies Benoot had magical legs there on this year's Road World Championships, and they gave it away to the stronger rider. We look at the Women's Road World Championships, and we saw Lotte Kopecky once. She had to be the outright undisputed champion, going favorite to win. Sorry, not champion, but favorite to win going into that race. And what did the Netherlands do? Well, the Netherlands wins were spectacular in the men's race with Mathieu van der Poel, like I just said. But the Netherlands women, you ladies were all knuckleheads. You made mistakes all over the place. The current road world champion, Annemiek van Vleuten, when she flatted before getting on the circuit, if you go back and watch that women's road race, she's sitting back there off the back while her teammate from the Netherlands is attacking going up the road, making the peloton even push harder, which means Annemiek van Vleuten had to do 10 kilometers of chasing. That woman chased going up the front attack and would have been better off going back for the current road world champion and pulling her back on, who clearly had marvelous form. Now let me break down one other tactic before I go so that we understand that the strongest rider doesn't always have to win. When we go into the Grand Tour races, I understand it's a little bit easier for the strongest rider to win. But when we're looking at the one-day races, and especially the women's peloton, when we're talking about tactically, it makes a big difference, because when you look at Elisa Shabby, that was up the road for Switzerland, what was happening in the back when the race was blowing up? Well, it was the Swiss girl, Marlene Reuser, who was attacking. What were you doing? Your teammate was up the road solo. That didn't help her any. Then all of a sudden, there's a group of 7 back there with the Swiss woman, Marlene Reuser, sitting on, the other 6 pulling. And Netherlands had two women in that front group. They had the second best rider in the race, Demi Vollering. Remember, she just got done winning the Tour de France. And the current road world champion, Annemiek van Vleuten. Now, if you saw the commentators, there were 2, Danny Christmas and Danny Rowe, that was calling the race. And then there was Marty, what was his name? Marty McDonald, that was calling the race. And they said Annemiek van Vleuten needed to go to the front and start pulling in that group of 7 that was chasing the one up front of the Swiss girl. That's ridiculous tactics. You never have second best rider in the world, Demi Vollering, and the third best rider in the race when we're talking about Annemiek van Vleuten. You never have one of them just expend their legs and blow up and then have to go one-on-one with a rider like Lotte Kopecky from Belgium. Belgium men were knuckleheads. Netherlands rider, Mathieu van der Poel, was fantastic. It was the opposite in the road race. The Netherlands women were knuckleheads. They sacrificed Annemiek van Vleuten instead of just attacking Lotte Kopecky left and right, and then left Demi Vollering to have to work against Lotte Kopecky. Kopecky went up the road one time chasing Annemiek van Vleuten. Who was chasing Lotte Kopecky? Well, that was Demi Vollering. They all come back together, but that means you had two riders from the same nation, Netherlands, chasing each other. And then once they come back together, of course, Lotte Kopecky lit everybody up and soloed in to win a magnificent victory, road world victory, her 3rd gold medal at this year's Glasgow World Championships, and did it with magnificent style. Guys, if you really want to see beautiful tactics, go back and watch the women's road race, but only Lotte Kopecky, because everyone else was knuckleheads. Even the Denmark rider, Cecil Lutrip, who wouldn't work with Demi Vollering, did work with Lotte Kopecky and then got dropped. Of course, if you're racing for a medal, that was a fantastic tactic because you're close to the finish. But if you're racing for the win, you never pull Lotte Kopecky, who just lit you up on the next climb and then soloed in to win that Road World Championships. So, Remco Evenepoel, again, you need tactics. You cannot go against Jonas Vingegaard and Primoz Roglic and expect to just drop them flat out at the Vuelta a España. If you can, if you do, you will be the #1 ranked rider in the world. But if you can win with a little magical tactics, you could still be the #1 ranked rider on the world up here in the butterfly effect and beyond the coverage. And let me remind you, Remco Evenepoel, you don't want the race leader's red jersey too soon, because your team of climbers is not quite stacked like Jumbo-Visma's team of climbers are here in 2023 Vuelta a España. Before I take off, I want to say thank you for all the comments when I left the 1-minute video in there about the hospital visit, and I'm sorry I couldn't get to you guys a little bit sooner. I was there for 3 days, but I really appreciate all the heartfelt comments out there. Read all of them. Do appreciate it. Love all you guys viewers. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys for the next 3 weeks, and hopefully sepsis stays away from me in the near future here. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next edition real soon.